Megan, you met any Canadians before?
Never.
I'm like the one behind the curtain.
Imagine this, you're curled up on the couch, popcorn in hand, lost in the glitter of your favorite reality show. You laugh at the feuds, gasp at the shocking twists, and maybe even hit follow on Instagram. But what if those stars you cheer for are hiding something far more sinister than a staged fight? Behind the glam, the designer outfits, and the fame, some reality stars carried secrets darker than any script. Murders, fraud, abuse, and scandals that made the front page. These weren't just storylines, they were real crimes. Shocking part? The world never saw it coming. Let's dive into their chilling truths. 5. Tamika Chesser. What if the bubbly contestant you once watched on reality TV was later accused of one of the most gruesome crimes in Australia's history? That's the chilling twist in the story of Tamika Chesser, a former star of Australia's Beauty and the Geek. Back in 2010, Chesser captured hearts with her playful personality and bright smile. Fans saw her as harmless, quirky, and fun, someone chasing fame in the most innocent of ways. But in 2025, her name hit headlines for reasons that stunned even the most hardened crime reporters. In June, police entered Chesser's Port Lincoln apartment and made a discovery straight out of a nightmare: the headless body of her partner, Julian Story. Just days later, a dog walker stumbled across a skull in nearby scrubland. Forensic testing confirmed the horrifying truth. It belonged to Story. The brutality shocked the nation. Decapitation, dismemberment, a crime so savage it made international news. How could the same woman who once wore glitter and laughter on TV now stand accused of such unimaginable violence? Early reports hint at a violent domestic dispute spiraling out of control, but investigators remain tight-lipped about the grisly details. Was this a moment of rage or something far darker lurking beneath the surface all along? Courtroom cameras captured a very different Chesser. Pale, hollow-eyed, her reality TV glamour long gone. She sat quietly, a ghost of the woman who once entertained millions. If convicted, she faces life behind bars, her fame forever replaced by infamy. How does someone go from beloved reality TV sweetheart to a central figure in a headless horror? 4. Jen Shah. What if the luxury you admired on TV, the designer gowns, the first-class vacations, the diamond-studded lifestyle, wasn't built on hard work but on stolen dreams? That's the chilling reality behind Jen Shah, the breakout star of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. From the moment Shah stepped onto the Bravo stage, she was unforgettable. Her closets overflowed with couture. Her parties screamed excess. Her temper made headlines. She lived as though money was no object, because for her, it wasn't. But that money wasn't hers. It came from victims who never saw it coming. In 2021, the glamorous facade cracked. Federal agents stormed in, arresting Shah on charges that sent shockwaves through her fan base: wire fraud and money laundering. Behind the gowns and glitz, she had been orchestrating one of the ugliest fraud empires in Housewives history. Her scheme, a nationwide telemarketing ring targeting older Americans. Victims, mostly over 55, were promised lucrative business opportunities. Instead, their life savings evaporated. Some lost retirement funds, some lost homes, some lost hope. Shah wasn't just a participant, she was a ringleader. Prosecutors revealed she funneled millions through shell companies and offshore accounts. She built a fantasy life on the backs of people who would never recover. At first, Shah denied everything. She shouted innocence on camera. She strutted into filming as though nothing was wrong. She even claimed she was the victim of a setup, but reality hit hard. By 2022, she flipped, pleading guilty in a stunning courtroom confession. The sentencing came in 2023, 6.5 years in federal prison, plus $6.6 million in restitution. But even her downfall was steeped in spectacle. Cameras captured her arrest while filming Real Housewives. Memes flooded the internet of her strutting into court draped in designer coats, sparking jokes about crime couture. Fans were left stunned. How could a woman who threw $80,000 birthday parties be the same one who destroyed the futures of grandmothers and retirees? In court, victims broke down sharing their despair, telling of empty bank accounts and ruined trust. Their voices were the real headline. The truth about Jen Shah is darker than any Bravo storyline. She wasn't just a housewife in sequins. She was a fraud queen in stilettos. Because not all diamonds are forever. 3. Josh Duggar. Some reality TV stars create a false image of wealth. Others create a false image of love. But Josh Duggar created a false image of something far more chilling: morality itself. As the eldest son of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting, Duggar was presented to the world as the poster child of conservative Christian values. Millions of viewers tuned in to watch the Duggar family promote faith, modesty, and a picture-perfect version of family-first living. To many, Josh was proof that old-fashioned virtue still had a place in modern America. But behind the cameras, a darker story was already unfolding. In 2015, an old police report surfaced, and the world saw the first cracks in Duggar's shiny image. The report revealed that as a teenager, Josh had harmed several of his younger sisters and a close family friend. His parents knew. They kept it quiet. They protected their brand while the victims were left to carry the scars. The revelation sent shockwaves through the public. TLC canceled 19 Kids and Counting in disgrace. But the Duggars weren't gone for long. Just months later, they rebranded with a new spin-off, Counting On, determined to keep their empire alive. Then came 2019. Federal agents began tracking concerning downloads of harmful material, and the trail led back to Duggar's used car dealership. Investigators discovered that he had installed secret software to bypass accountability filters and access some of the most troubling content ever seen in a courtroom. When his 2021 trial began, the evidence was compelling. Experts testified that Duggar had repeatedly accessed disturbing videos, some involving toddlers. Even during the FBI raid, he made jokes to coworkers about inappropriate content. The mask of morality was gone. What remained was a transgressor. The jury didn't hesitate. Convicted on multiple counts, Duggar was sentenced to 12.5 years in federal prison. For fans, critics, and even religious leaders, the case was a gut punch. How could the man who once preached purity and virtue hide such a dark side for so long? 2. Armand, Vegas glitz, shirtless confidence, and wild charm. That was Armand on Showtime's series Gigalos. Women swooned, fans cheered, and Sin City had a new Playboy prince. But the cameras didn't capture everything. Behind the lights, Armand, real name Akshaya Kubiak, was walking a dangerous edge. In 2020, that edge snapped, and the man known for pleasure became the center of one of Las Vegas's most shocking murders. Picture the scene. July heat pressing down on the desert. Police arrive at Armand's upscale home, expecting maybe a disturbance call, maybe another Vegas meltdown. Instead, they step into horror. On the floor lies Herline Dulai, his longtime friend and spiritual healer, beaten and strangled. The room whispers of violence that spiraled far past control. Armand tells officers a story straight out of a nightmare. He'd taken psychedelic drugs, blacked out, and woken to find her dead. But the evidence painted something darker. Dulai hadn't just died. She had endured a prolonged, brutal assault. This wasn't a fleeting hallucination. This was rage that lingered. And here's the twist. Armand wasn't just a reality star. Off camera, he played guru, fitness coach, and YouTuber, preaching about self-growth and higher consciousness. He promised transformation. He sold spirituality. But the woman who once tried to heal him became his victim. In court, prosecutors argued the drugs unleashed something monstrous. Armand claimed he thought he was fighting a demon. It sounded like the stuff of horror movies, but in 2021, reality caught up. He pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter. The sentence? 8 to 20 years in a Nevada prison. The case left fans stunned and experts unsettled. How much blame falls on a man lost in a drug-fueled haze? Can a bad trip ever excuse brutality? Or was the truth simpler, that Armand's charm and fame masked a storm waiting to explode? This story grabs at the core of human fear. Imagine placing your trust, your soul, into the hands of someone promising light, only for them to turn into darkness itself. Armand's fall isn't just about crime, it's a warning. Fame, drugs, and delusion don't mix. In Las Vegas, the city of illusions, his was the deadliest illusion of all. 1. Ryan Jenkins. What if your fairy tale wedding turned into the script of a horror movie? That's exactly what happened in the case of Ryan Jenkins, a Canadian reality TV contestant whose story spiraled from glamour to grotesque murder. Jenkins first appeared on VH1's dating show, Megan Wants a Millionaire, and later competed on I Love Money 3. On screen, he seemed like the dream bachelor, handsome, wealthy, confident. Off-screen, a ticking time bomb. In March 2009, Jenkins married Jasmine Fiore, a model known for her beauty and charm. Their romance was quick, flashy, and Instagram-worthy before Instagram even existed. But within months, cracks appeared. Jenkins grew jealous and controlling, and Fiore confided to friends about his violent outbursts. Then came August 2009. Fiore vanished. Days later, her mutilated body was discovered in a suitcase inside a dumpster in Buena Park, California. Fingers and teeth had been removed, an attempt to prevent identification. Investigators, however, identified her through the serial numbers on her breast implants. And the prime suspect? Ryan Jenkins. The media frenzy exploded. Jenkins fled the US and crossed into Canada, launching an international manhunt. For days, tabloids splashed his face across covers, calling him the Suitcase Killer. But the chase ended when Jenkins was found dead in a Canadian motel, having hanged himself. In conclusion, from Ryan Jenkins' jealous rage to Tamika Chesser's alleged headless horror, these 5 baffling cases remind us that reality TV only shows us what producers want us to see. Behind the confessionals, luxury, and drama often lie shadows we can't imagine. Reality stars aren't just characters, they're real people. Sometimes deeply troubled, sometimes dangerous, and sometimes hiding secrets darker than any scripted storyline. The next time you find yourself hooked on a reality show, ask this: how much do I really know about the person on screen? Because as these cases prove, sometimes the biggest plot twist isn't written by a producer. It's written by real life, and it's far more terrifying. If you found this video helpful, hit the bell icon for more content, drop your thoughts in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.